You built a laser that flashed for 10 quadrillionths of a second. The fastest thing that any human being has ever created. Tell us about that.
They're just the fastest strobe lights in existence. Fast enough to freeze the motion of even an electron as it orbits an atom.
Describe to our viewers what a laser is and what it looks like.
It has a special ability and a very pure color, so that you can use it for all kinds of finding out, what kind of chemical is there. There's a laser in your CD player. There's a laser in the supermarket. There's so many uses now, and of course many uses in science.
What did you dream of becoming when you grew up?
Well, I can still clearly remember that moment, that when I was staring at this picture of Archimedes, and I decided then I wanted to be a scientist. And not everybody believed me, because I remember I arrived in high school. It turns out physics was my worst subject.
So people doubted you and
oh yes, that's right. But it turns out that if you like something, you enjoy doing it so much that you're willing to work harder to make up for things you don't know.
So who was your hero when you were young?
I think I really admired two of my teachers. So one of them, Ireland was very poor at the time, so we didn't get opportunities to travel. But that teacher, every summer, she would go to a different country. She always had so many interesting things and stories to tell us about. And then another teacher, who was my chemistry teacher in high school, she thought if you did well in your grades, then you should definitely go to college and you should definitely have a career. And so that, again, was very inspirational, because, of course, I didn't know any engineers or scientists.
What do you love the most about being a physicist?
I think what I love most is being able to see students make the same transformation I did myself, because at the beginning it looks like there's just so much science to learn that you could spend a lifetime and you still wouldn't know it all. I love when the students then change from being afraid to do an experiment because they don't think they know enough, to suddenly we're irrelevant. They just call us when the experiment is done.
What is most frustrating about being a physicist?
So sometimes when I feel like we could maybe have different rules in place that would make it easier to have more women in science and such, I get frustrated, because to me it appears obvious that we should change things, because there are not very many women in science, so we should make some changes. The pace of change is very frustrating.
What advice would you give to our viewers, the youth between the ages 9 to 14?
Not to give up. Just persevering is actually 95% of what you need to do. If you let some obstacles stop you, then you're just letting some random thing or event stop you fulfilling your dream. I had people saying, girls really don't, you might be able to get a degree, but maybe you're not going to become a professor. And I would let one or two comments like that sort of probably weigh too heavily. Some negative comments can feel, especially if there aren't many women in the field, you don't feel like you've got a lot of buddies, right, or a lot of support network. And so sometimes it can feel like you're trying to do it alone. But what I was very fortunate that in my class that I had, there was 40 in the class, but there were 5 women, but we all would stay in touch a lot. We would share our bad stories and laugh at them, and then say, oh, that can't, you've got to keep going.
Tell us about the highlight of your career so far.
That's hard, because, we're proud of all the students' accomplishments, so it's hard to pick out one. My husband and I met in graduate school, so the first time last year we got an award together that we shared. Science is becoming more and more of a teamwork, and just anything we can do to kind of have that culture, because I think it makes more sense than competition, because, science often is seen as a race to get there first. But to me, from a society point of view, it doesn't really matter if somebody gets there a year before the next person. What really matters is, are we tackling the right problems that are important for society in the future?